So wanted to do a video about the switches, the snap switches and how I wired everything up. I built this control panel. It has wheels on the bottom of it so I can roll it around, move it in and out. And it's basically in the center of the layout area. So I'll be able to see most of the layout just sitting here from this console. All the switches are grouped by the line that they're on, as you can see, blue, yellow, green, red, and they're sequenced from the yard out and then clockwise around the layout. I'm going to label them all so I know exactly which ones are which, because I won't remember it in 6 months. But I also wanted it set up so that I could actually remove, if I ever had to move the layout is designed and built so that I can actually move it if I need to. I have these clips on the back for the wiring that I can just undo, and they're all numbered so they'll be easy enough to figure out. And this is what the clips look like. I bought them on Amazon, 3 wire clips. They just clip in easy enough, piece of cake. The other thing I did is on the switch end of it, I bought these little clips. These are snap clips, and so when you snap them closed, it clips the wire. So the wiring for the switches is very, very fine, especially on these N gauge. They're really tiny. So when you strip them down, you just stick the wire into the end. Oops. Stick the wire into the end on one side, and then I group 3 of them together. So you can just slide 3 of them together, and then I put a screw in and mount it underneath the layout or wherever I'm mounting it. And then I run the wires like this stuff. I run this from there all the way to the back of the control panel. And so that's why you see all those wires coming through there. They're all the switch wires that I've wired up so far. And these things are great because I didn't feel like having to deal with, with using wire nuts, because the wire nuts would have to be pretty small. I didn't want to have to try and solder them together. These things are easy. You just snap the clips down. It holds the wire in place. You just pull on it to make sure it's in there, and it's done. Piece of cake. I know it's a little bit extra money, but it made things a lot easier for me to do the layout. Same with these things. These things made this whole thing so much easier so that I don't have to just disconnect the wires. Because, reconnecting these wires is really a pain in the butt, whereas I can just unclip these things and away I go. To me, the extra expense of doing it was not a big deal. So anyway, on the layout, you'll underneath of where the switches are, I have, groups of 3 of these mounted together at every place where there's a switch. And they're screwed in underneath the layout, and then all the wiring is run underneath. I have little clips holding everything up, so all these wires can be grouped together and brought in, and then I can disconnect them however I choose to, and no problem. So it was just an idea on how to manage the things so that if I have to take the layout apart, I can take it apart. I'm hoping to never take it apart. I probably won't move. But who knows? My couple of my kids live in Colorado, and if they start having babies, my wife's going to want to move. So who knows where we'll be in 10 years. So anyway, that's just any questions about this, let me know. All this stuff came from Amazon. So you can find this stuff on Amazon if you need it. Wanted to add an extra note. These wire clips, there's a metal bar that runs side to side, and if you put a screw in through here, it goes through that metal bar. If you drill a tiny enough hole, you'll still have the connection. I didn't have the right size screws, and I was a little impatient to go out and get screws that were really small and long enough to do that. So I ended up putting an extra block one here. I didn't really care, but it is a waste of an extra block. And so I have 4 of them in here. I put the screw into one of them, and then the other 3 run right, are connected up. And this is the way the wiring looks. Underneath the layout, you'll see this everywhere, but these 2 switches I just mounted right here on the back of this part of the layout. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there as an add-on because there is a challenge. If you drill a hole in here and the hole's too big, it's going to drill right through the metal band that runs from side to side. So I used an extra one there. There's probably other ways I could have done that easy enough without having to use an extra one of these. But I didn't feel like trying to figure it out. And so just a little additional piece of information on those.